Welcome to Rising Well. Today we're talking about believing in yourself and trusting in yourself. And as we rise today, I really want to ask you a question. How many decisions have you delayed because you didn't trust yourself? Sit with that for a moment. How many times have you known exactly what needs to happen? But instead of you listening to yourself, you asked 5 people, 10 people, your mom, your dad, your best friend, your boyfriend, your husband, your kids. You just kept gathering information. Instead of listening to yourself, you asked all of these other people for their opinion. You sought validation, right? You waited for more certainty before you acted on what you knew was the truth for you, your situation, or your circumstance. And somewhere along the way, somewhere along that path, you began to bury your own voice. Your voice started getting buried beneath everyone else's voice because you were waiting on this sense of certainty. Today, I want to talk about something that I know impacts every area of our lives. It definitely impacts minds and the clients that I've served over the last 15 years in business, in leadership, in branding, in marketing. It's the ability to trust ourselves. No matter what's going on around us, no matter who is telling you or giving you the advice, it could be the president, it could be the prime minister, it could be the biggest celebrity. Having trust in yourself is one of the most impactful, empowering, and most important things that you can do for yourself and for your health and for your business. Your life is rising and falling on the quality of your relationship with yourself. Yet, our relationship with ourself is the last thing that we learn about as we're coming up in this life. Not your relationship with opportunities, not your relationship with money, even though a lot of us are working on our relationships with money or relationship with money, not even your relationship with success, which so many of us are chasing, but instead your relationship with yourself. Every decision is filtered through what we believe about ourselves and whether we can trust ourselves. So many of us female leaders have been conditioned to give away our authority. From childhood, we are learning how to ask permission, how to seek approval, how to wait for validation, how to trust experts more than we trust ourselves, and really how to doubt our own internal knowing. So eventually, we stop hearing ourselves altogether. And the result of that is that we build a life built on consensus rather than on conviction. Mm. On consensus rather than on conviction. We know what everybody else around us thinks about what we should be doing, where we should be going, and how we should be moving. We know what everybody else thinks about that, but we don't know what we think. Some of us have the hardest time hearing our own selves think, hearing our own feelings, and feeling our own feelings. And this is costing us, and it's costing us big. You are seeing how it's costing you. You just might not know exactly what this cost is linked to. And I'm here to offer this recommendation or suggestion to you that perhaps it is your relationship with yourself, self trust. So, the hidden cost of self trust when we don't trust ourselves, this is what it can look like. The decisions that you need to make become exhausting. You feel tired. You feel like you're always having to make these hard decisions. And why does it feel so harder than everyone else? The decisions become exhausting. The opportunities that present themselves to you, whew, they become confusing. You are always confused about if this is the right opportunity for you, which is why you end up asking every Tom, Dick, and Harry about what you should do, because opportunities, you don't know what's yours and what's not yours because you haven't developed the relationship with self and learned how to trust self. Every choice requires a confirmation for you. You don't know how to just act, right? You don't know how to be impulsive with yourself, right? Just trusting what's coming to you. Anxiety, don't even get me started on anxiety. The anxiety, it increases inside of you because the certainty that you're looking for, that you don't know how it's supposed to look. So you're looking in all the wrong places, high and low, except for in you. The anxiety increases because the certainty you've been trained to look for never arrives. Your confidence weakens, becomes frail, because confidence is impossible. It's impossible without self trust. Many women think confidence is supposed to come first, right? I've seen a lot of women try to gas themselves up about, I just need to be more confident. And then we do all of the different things, right? We do all of these external things to try to gain confidence that has to come from the inside. It's an inside job, and then it exudes out, right? It becomes an exhibit, a display of what's going on inside of you. So confidence doesn't come from the outside first, it comes from self trust, y'all. Confidence is simply the evidence of repeated, keyword, repeated self trust. I remember one of my first interactions, one of my first run ins with self trust when I was younger. And I was a teenager, and it was me and two friends. So there was a total of three of us. And we had snuck out of the house, right? We were having a sleepover. We were supposed to be doing our thing. And we snuck out of the house when no one was looking. And somehow we ended up at this corner store by the house. And it was in the dead of night. Okay. It was in the dead of night. And I remember we're standing out by this corner store. It's dark. Children should definitely not be out of the house at this time of night. And one of my friends, the ringleader of the whole orchestration, she was trying to arrange our pickup, our ride who was coming to pick us up, right? So she was like alerting them of our location, letting them know what was going on. So the first step for us was just to get out of the house. We didn't have a full plan, but we just needed to get out of the house. So we got out of the house. And I remember while they were trying to orchestrate our plan, I remember my awareness centering and locking on this this group of three people. One was a woman who just didn't look right, right? She looked kind of ragged. Another was a man, a kind of big, obese, slothful like man in a wheelchair, and he only had one leg, by the way. And then another one was a lanky, dark kind of figure, could barely see his face. And I remember my awareness centering on these three individuals. And for some reason, my awareness could not come off of them. My friends are talking to me, but my attention is centered on these three individuals. And in my gut, I could feel this rising, this knowing of these are not good people for us. This is not going to end well. And it felt kind of like a soft siren in the radiating in my solar plexus area, right? In my gut, in my belly area, starting from the opening of the ribs all the way down to underneath my navel. And it was just like kind of like vibe, just a small vibrating was occurring. And these individuals locked awareness on us, these three teenagers out in the dead of night. And I remember they kept coming closer and closer. They were pretty far away, but they kept making their way over to us. And with every step that they took as they came closer to us, the vibrating inside of me just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I remember I was telling my friends, like, hey, look out, what's going on? Who are these individuals? And they're so focused on getting our ride. They're like, Quadera, please, not paying me any attention. And then the individuals got close enough for me to see their full faces and everything. And the one in the wheelchair yelled out to me, hey, hey. And he was talking to the three of us. And I remember when he yelled out, the vibration became so big and so large that it took over my entire being. And I yelled to my friends, I said, no, that's it. We got to go. And it was just a knowing, we got to get the heck out of here. Now, I don't remember where me and my friends went after that, but I know we got the heck out of Dodge, as the older people like to say, right? We got the heck out of Dodge. And I think we went back home for the night. I don't remember. But that was my first run-in with self-trust. So self-trust has a feeling. It can have a feeling. It can have a sound. It can have words. And it's words and sounds and feelings that are unique to you. That's why developing the relationship with self-trust is so important. Now, in that instance, it worked out and I listened to myself, right? But as I got older, doubt began to sneak in. And I remember when I was partnering up with my mom to expand the family business into a K through 5 private school, I remember she went out and she found this consultant that had worked with other schools and friends of hers. And this man came to our school one evening to meet with us and tell us how he was going to help us and all the things that we were going to have to do and what the process looked like. And I remember coming out into the lobby to lay eyes on him for the first time, to meet him. And I remember as soon as I laid eyes on him, my whole body and soul said no. No. It was a hard no. I had an immediate rejection of him. Everything in me said scam alert, scam alert, scam alert, scam alert. But my mom was there for it. And she has pretty good intuition. But my mom was there for it. And so I thought to myself, well, maybe I'm wrong. And he told us that his fee for helping us was going to be $5,000. And I remember later that week, my mom, she ended up paying him. And shortly after that, we never heard from him again. Not an email, not a phone number. A phone call, not an email, not a phone call, nothing. He disappeared from the face of the earth. And I didn't insist to my mom that this person was an absolute no, because I doubted myself. I doubted myself because of my age. I doubted myself because of my lack of experience. I doubted myself because I was never really actually taught how to trust myself. And I was deepening my relationship with myself, but I didn't know what those signs look like. Many of us, we hear thoughts in our heads about something, but we think to ourselves, you don't know enough. You haven't been enough places. That can't be true. Look at how they're responding to other people. Look at how other people respond to them or to the experience or the situation. So you automatically think something must be wrong with you. So the pattern is when you don't trust yourself, you are continually abandoning yourself. And all of our experiences on this planet are something for us. So, yes, a person or an experience or a place might turn out differently for another person. But once you develop the relationship with yourself, you've got to trust yourself because maybe it's not aligned for you. Maybe it's not a part of your destiny, right? It might be a part of theirs, but not a part of yours. So you begin to ignore your instincts. This is the pattern, right? You ignore your instincts, you override your intuition, you silence your observations, you explain away what you know. Then you wonder why you feel so disconnected. And the disconnection isn't from life. A lot of us are saying things like, life happens and then life got in the way. No, 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 no. It isn't life. It is the disconnection from self that is making it feel like these types of things just happen to everybody. Our relationship with self, our development of self-trust is going to help us navigate all of these things. But we can navigate these things with a sense of confidence. So here's the reframe. The reframe is self-trust is not going to make you always be right. You're not always going to be right. Okay? You're not always going to be right. Self-trust means you remain loyal to yourself, even when outcomes are uncertain. Many of us wait until we have certainty before we trust ourselves. But certainty is rarely available beforehand in the way that we think. Because we think certainty is supposed to be a manifestation of an external physical thing. But what it really is it's a self-trust as a commitment to following instinct. Self-trust is a commitment to following your instincts. Self-trust is you choosing to honor your own knowing before the proof ever arrives. So if you want to rise well into your day today, and that's what we're doing here, practice beginning each day from your internal authority. Practice being in a state of sovereignty. Practice being a safe space for yourself before anyone else can create a safe space for you. So before those emails, before the opinions, before the headlines, before the noise, before any of that, return to yourself. Make space for yourself. Ask yourself questions like, what do I know for myself today? What am I sensing? What feels true for me in this day? What decision have I already known I need to make? What decisions are nudging me from the inside? That is going to require internal listening. Because rising well is not about becoming louder. It is about becoming more aligned. So the morning reflection or day reflection, wherever you are on the planet, is to become aware that there is going to come a moment. There is going to come a point where you stop polling the room, where you stop asking everyone what they think. You stop seeking consensus on every decision. You stop treating your intuition like a suggestion. And you begin trusting yourself. Not because you're always going to be right, but because self-trust is built through listening to yourself, not abandoning yourself. This will help you in life, in wealth, in health, in relationships, in business. Rising well is remembering that your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every relationship, every decision, every opportunity, and every experience that follows. As we rise into today, let's remember this, that we build self-trust through honoring our own knowing. And every time we choose ourselves, instead of abandoning ourselves, trust is going to grow stronger. And trust is the frequency of feeling well. Stay tuned every single day for these Rising Well messages. Join me at Feel Well Magazine on all platforms and at Quadera Tea Art on all platforms. And thank you for listening to the first ever Rising Well by Feel Well. Have an awesome day.